Hi, it's Claire from the Yoga Chapel. Welcome to day 4. Today we're learning Dadasana 1, which is Warrior 1. We're first going to get into our warm-up. So let's start standing. Because we're going to be working a little bit on balance today too, we're going to start with our balancing poses. Bring your hands on our hips. Just shaking it out a little bit. Coming into the room, grounding into the floor.
Is that chimp bounce? Chimp bounce?
This is chimp bounce, which I love. Let's do that. Go back and forth, turning the corners of your mouth up. Let's start our day 4 a little happier. All right, bring our feet together, hands on our hips. Really ground through the 4 corners of your feet, bending your knees a little bit, pulling that bum towards the floor, shoulders down and out, coming to that Tadasana or that mountain pose that we've been working on. Drop the toes. 3 rounds of breath. Inhaling through the nose or mouth, deep into the belly. Side exhale. 2 more breaths on your own. We always start with kind of a breath work, just to get into our space, letting our nervous system know that we're about to work out and we're taking this time for ourselves. 1 more inhale. Sigh that out, exhale. Great. And a little bit of shake. Shaking is also really great for the nervous system. Just releases any bad, negative energy out. Right. Let's start with our balance. We're going to come into our right foot, really ground into that right foot, and then slowly lift your left foot off the floor. Always use a wall or a chair if you need to. If it's in the morning, sometimes our proprioception is not the best. Okay, and then we're going to do the alphabet with our foot. So we're just going to do A, B, so circling the letters of the alphabet with your foot. F, G, could do some calligraphy while you're here. Chi. Okay. L, M, N, O. So this helps our brain as well as our balance. And Z. Great. Shaking that out. And let's do the alphabet on the other foot. Grounding through the left foot. Lift the right foot off the floor. Always noticing maybe everything is a bit different. And then start with your alphabet. I love to do script, but you could do block letters, any letters that you want. I'm at M, N, O, P, W, X, Y, Z. Perfect. And shaking that out. Okay. Let's go through a sun salutation just to get us to the floor. Inhale our arms up. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, bring the right leg back, drop onto the right knee. Left knee coming forward, low lunge. Straighten the left leg. Pull the left foot forward, half split. Come back through that low lunge. 1 more breath. Curl over that right toe, stepping forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold. Bring that left leg behind you, drop onto the left knee. Low lunge on the right side, bringing that right knee further forward. Straighten that right leg, maybe curl over the left toes, half split. Come forward, Back to that low lunge for the last breath. Curl over the left toes, step forward, inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, look up. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Drop your hands back down to Tadasana, and we'll get Joan to teach you the next section.
Thanks, Claire, for that stretch out. That's awesome. It's going to help us as we break down Dadasana 1 or Warrior 1 pose. Let's get right into it. Let's come into our Tadasana, feet hip-width distance apart, settle through the belly, allow the arms to fall beside the body, slightly pulling the shoulder blades onto the ribs, so towards midline. And let's just think about midline for a second, because it's going to help as we get deeper into these more kind of complicated positions. Midline, we're thinking about cutting our body just kind of in half into our two sides. So if you're looking at Claire from her sternum, so the center of her chest, over to the right, over to the left, we have this symmetrical side. One eye, half of the nose, half of the lip, one ear, shoulder, arm, leg. And we break the pelvis up into two parts. And the pelvis actually is two bones that kind of pull apart. And that will make more sense as we move into Warrior 2 position. In Tadasana, remember our hip bones are shining forward, in line with our knees, in line with our toes. Also another important step as we're going to move in locomotion, coming forward into this position. Core is engaged slightly, squeezing the bum, drawing down through the feet. And start to activate the quads, slowly lifting the toes up, pushing into the toe mounds and outside of the feet. You might notice the quads or the front of the legs pull up towards the hips and away from the knees. Let's squeeze the fists together, so start to activate the back of the arms. By simply just moving and squeezing and making a fist, we start to activate different kind of muscles. Allow the shoulders to still pin down onto the ribs. The pelvis slightly tucks forward, the bum pulls down. Strong Tadasana, and we're adding into the arms. Keep the toes lifted, slightly squeeze the bum together or the anus together, and so there's a lift of the pelvic floor up and in towards the ribs. Now, as we start to tighten some muscles up, the breath might feel restricted. We want to start to expand and contract to the depth that we can, at the same time holding those contractions. This is the tricky part in yoga, and this might take a long time to kind of master that balance between a very easy ujjayi yogic breath and contraction through the pelvic floor and the core muscles. All right, let's let the hands relax, let the body relax. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, side out through the mouth. All right, hands onto the hips. Let's bring all the weight into the left foot. So you feel the weight kind of sway into the left foot. Lift the right knee up towards the face. Remember, you can use a wall at any time, or have the wall nearby. Claire did that alphabet, which is a really like a technique ballet dancers use so that they start to bring the mind and the body connection. Let's bend the knee and pull the knee inside the left knee, kicking the heel towards the bum. Claire will stay facing forward. I'll do your side profile. So I'm trying not to pigeon my body or create a back bend for myself. I want to keep a neutral body. Now the tricky part, when we don't hold on to our foot, we're going to activate those hamstrings. Yeah. And so bending the knee, keeping the knee in line with one another, softening the standing leg will help with balance. Pelvis slightly tucks forward. And imagine you're squeezing a block from calf to the back of the thigh. That is the tricky part. Point the toe instead of flex the toe. And then we're starting to charge up that calf. We're starting to charge up that hamstring, more importantly. Take a breath and a breath out. Good. Now slowly relax the foot towards the floor. So both legs straighten. Inhale, sweep the arms up to stretch the arms up. Remember not to open the chest. Good. And then exhale, release the hands back down towards the hips. Nice. All right, let's do the other side. So ground into your right foot. Let's kick the left leg back. So notice as you lift the foot up, the knee will want to be pulling forward. You got to draw the knee back in line with the thigh. Squeeze the thighs together, drop the left hip down so the hips stay level. Kick the heel so it wants to touch the bum. That's where we have to activate those hamstrings. It's an active kind of stretch into the quad and an active contraction through the back of the hamstring. Point the toe, hold, knees closer together, long and strong through the back. Breath in. Exhale, slowly relax. So extend the leg, drive through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, let the hands drop beside the body. Good. Let's do that one more time. So Claire's going to turn the other direction. We're going to do Flamingo one more time from a standing position. Hands onto the hips. Take a breath in. Let the weight fall into the left, soften the knees. Kick the right heel towards the bum. Glue the inside of the knees together. Point the toe. Good. So I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning back. If anything, soften the left knee to balance your body. Pull the pelvic floor up and in. Let's add the arms. Allow them to come forward. Shoulders down onto the back. Hold here or turn the thumbs up. Keep kicking the heel towards the bum, pointing the toe. Good. Notice where your balance is at. Stay here or pull the thumbs back without lifting through the chest. So don't borrow from the chest. Good. Now the hamstrings will be talking to you for sure. Squeeze the inside of the thighs. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower the hands to the hips. Lower and straighten that front leg. Take a breath in, drive through the feet. Take a long exhale out. Good. Let's come into the other side. Hands onto the hips. Let the weight come into the right foot. So you lift the left knee, pull the left heel towards the bum, draw the knees together. Remember when we were doing that powerful position? Hug in towards the midline. Remember the midline from the center of the head, center of the pelvis. Keep kicking that heel, pointing that toe. Beauty. Take that inhale, take the arms out, shoulders in line. Not losing the pelvis. Slightly tuck, squeeze in. I'm going to push Claire slightly out of balance. I can feel it. Keep squeezing. Turn the thumbs up like you're holding that block. Take that inhale to reach without lifting the ribs. Ribs hug in towards the hips. Stay with it. Keep hugging that calf. Don't lose that. Take a breath in. Good. Exhale, hands to the hips. Slowly relax. Extend through the back of that knee. Take a breath in. And exhale, let that go. Good. Coming back to Tadasana. So allowing the shoulders to relax, the body to come back to the breath, and notice the hamstrings and the quads in particular after that flamingo position. I'm just going to grab a mat for the next warrior series. Okay, so I'm going to get Claire to turn towards me. We're going to show you how to step forward into a warrior one position. Warrior one, let's go back just to regress just a little bit. Tadasana, my hips are facing forward. Warrior one is going to be the same position. There's not going to be any shifting with the pelvis. Let's get Claire to step into it. So I'm going to have Claire to step forward with her right foot. Now with both legs straight, you notice her back heel is down on the ground. This is the key. And a lot of times we take that step too far forward. So if you take a little further forward step, both legs are straight. It's going to be hard for her to drop this heel down to the floor. The key with Warrior One is that we're rooted in this back heel. It's kind of what we're pushing off. Warrior One, like lunge, is the locomotion is acting forward, like we're going to run forward. So keep that in mind. When we push down through the heel, we create another anchor point, which is also really helpful and creates this position that Warrior One can be a great basic or yogic basic position. All right, so we're going to keep the legs straight for this one. We're not going to bend into the front knee. We're going to ground through the four corners of the feet. We're going to think about Tadasana body, shoulders stacked over hips, arms beside the body. Really good starting position. Now let me show you from there. So hold there. If I step forward, so here's my step, the possibility is that I'm going to open up my left hip. Remember, Tadasana, my pelvis faces forward. So the pelvis is facing my knee. So both my knees are in the same position as my ankles, in line with my toes, okay? Over time, we'll talk about the other back leg, but right now, toes facing slightly forward, knees in line, and hips in line. So for Claire, if I was to over-exaggerate her, a tendency is the hips come out and the whole body then shifts out of alignment. Pelvis facing forward, I'm going to roll that left hip forward, pull this right hip back, right? So there's the action. Ground through that back heel, which we talked about, so we have a planting position. Both feet are rooted. Good. Belly is engaged, keeping that roll forward. Good. And you can even soften that back knee slightly if you need to. All right. A really good position to start. Warrior one, let's hold. Front leg is straight, back leg, left hip forward, right hip slightly back. There's a slight pull of the pelvis down towards the floor. Sweep the arms in line with the shoulders. Let's lift the toes. That's going to activate those quads. We need those to activate. The back calf and the hamstring are lengthening, right? We're lengthening the front bone. Take a breath. Take a breath out. Let's do one more. Remember, powerful position. You're trying to root down through those hands. You're trying to push through my hands, through the ground. Keep that charge. That's how strong it is. Breath in and breath out. Good. Soften the hands to the hips. Soften that front knee to step back. Good. So we're going to do the other side. So Claire's going to find her Tadasana position. She's going to step forward about 3 feet or a short step. She's going to adjust her position so that she gets a nice stretch through the back line of that right leg, anchored through the heel, keeping both legs straight. Right hip comes forward, left hip pulls back. Yes. Pelvis pulls in, shoulders stacked, and long through the skull. So from the front view, we're going to keep that pelvis long. I'm going to roll my hip forward, right? So the pelvis faces forward, pushing through the back heel, pulling the bum down towards the floor. Good. Let's lift the arms all the way up. Charge into the arms. Another version you can do is turn the thumbs up and imagine you're hugging a block in towards center. So now Claire is imagining that I'm going to try to pull her arms apart. She's going to push my hands together, shoulders down. Don't lose the core. Don't lose the heel. Push and spread the toes even wider. Breath in and breath out. Okay, slowly release the hands to the hips and then step back with that back leg. Really good start. Take a breath to shake that out. You'll notice the hamstrings and the quads start to fire up. So the ideal progressions is that we want to turn the right muscles on so that they're working efficiently for us. Perfect. Let's get right back into it. So Claire's come back into Tadasana. Feet at those number 11s. Remember, softening through the knees. Claire's tendency is she locks out the knees. Notice what your tendencies are. Soft through the knees, hips stacked, belly pulls in, long through the spine. Let's take that step forward with the right foot into that short distance. Remember, ground through the heel, pelvis. So left hip rolls back, right hip pulls forward, and then we're long through that back leg. So nothing shifts with this left leg. We're going to add on. Nothing really starts to move except she's going to start to pull the front knee forward, bend the front knee, push into that back heel. So we're looking eventually to get a 90-degree angle, at least the knee stacked over the heel, pushing through that front toe mount. So that's exactly where you want to be right now. Remember your Tadasana body, the hips facing me. Good, facing the front, shoulders stacked. Drive through the back heel. So imagine I'm pushing gently on your back heel so it's rooting down towards the ground. Good. Now let's sweep the arms up. Remember, you're charging up, shoulders in line with the wrists. Turn the thumbs up. Imagine you're holding the block or squeezing that block. Now you can hang out here, or remember your range of motion, just like powerful position. Start to lift the arms in line with the ears without moving from the ribs. So Claire's going to over-exaggerate as she lifts. There's the back bend. No, not yet. Keep the shoulders stacked. You want to power through the core, ribs hug in towards the hips. Everything's squeezing and cinching in. Beauty. Claire's shaking. She's like, when is this over? And then pull the hands together like she's holding that block. All right, slowly let the arms come back down. Let's hands onto the hips. Push off that back foot to step back. And then you go, shake it out. Woo. We gotta do the other side and we'll do that together. Hands onto the hips. We're gonna step the right leg forward. Yes, right leg forward into that shorter stance. Find your position so you can anchor through both feet. Spread the toes wide, right? You want to feel those tentacles push into the floor. Shift the left hip back and then roll the left hip forward so you're shining the pelvis forward. Strong. Good. Start to bend the knee so it's stacked over the heel. You can even use your eyeballs to look to the inside of the knee. The knee is not coming past the toes in this position. It can be behind the heel. Right? It doesn't have to come to a full 90. That's what we're working towards. Beauty. Claire could probably even take a little step further back. This is what I would notice here. Because then we want to push to her edge where she feels sensation of the stretch of the calf, opening of the hamstring. Keep rolling that right hip forward, left hip back. Good. I feel that shaky right through her quads. Beauty. Okay, you're gonna add the arms. Keep the core strong. Drive through the back heel, lift the arms like you're pushing against something. Shoulder blades keep hugging towards the midline of your spine. You can turn the thumbs up. Still imagine you're holding that block. Keep that bend in the front knee. Extend through the back leg, femur, and then slowly lift, maybe lifting the arms in line. Not popping the chest, right? Chin stays parallel, shoulders in line, shoulders down the back. Keep hugging in, maybe squeeze the palms of the hands together. Remember, this is all range of motion stuff. Take a breath. Take a breath out. One more. Slowly drop the arms in line, hands on the hips, and then push back into that standing position. Whew, and shake that out. Warrior one, right? It's a lot of work to get into it and maintain and find your positions, but Trikonasana is going to help you. Flamingo is going to help you as well. So let's do a little flow before Claire closes this off. All right. Toes together, heels slightly apart. I'll do it from the side. Claire will do it from the front. Take that inhale to sweep all the way up, look up. Exhale, hands to the center line of the chest. Take the feet hip-width distance apart. Hands onto the hips, hinge into your forward fold, drop the forearms to the thighs. Good, weight into the toes, drop the fingertips down, forward fold, lift the hips, tuck the chin. Breath in, breath out. Look forward, bring the toes together, heels slightly apart. Step the right leg back so you come into your warrior one position. Hands up onto the left thigh, slowly come all the way up. Straighten both legs, position the body, squeeze the bum. Good. Lift the arms all the way up, either in line with the shoulders or towards the ear. Good. Keep spinning that right hip forward, left hip back. Good adjustment. And then slowly bend the front knee without losing the spine. So all that's moving is that you're finding a hinge slightly back. You're bending into the front knee to fire up that quad, stretch the back of the left hamstring. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Take a long breath out. Good. Hands onto the hips. Good. Come forward, lift the back heel, drop the fingertips down, and step forward with the back foot. Take a breath in, half back, push against the shins. Exhale, fold, bend the knees. Step the left leg back, that 3 feet or that short distance. Bend the front knee to bring the hands up onto the thigh and slowly come up, straighten both legs. Good. Hands onto the hips, squeeze the bum, left hip forward, right hip back. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, bend into the front knee. So activate that stretch. Back heel drives down. Keep the belly pulled in. Keep the ribs pulled in. Good. Drive through the front. Even lift the right toes that might fire deeper into the quad. Take your breath and your breath out. Good. Slowly release the hands down. Come high into the back toe. You're going to drop the fingertips down. Step the left foot forward. Take a breath in. Lengthen both legs. Belly away from thighs. Exhale. Bend the knees to come into that forward fold. Uttanasana. Walk up the legs into a ragdoll. Keep the chin tucked. Roll the shoulders down the back. Open the palms. Take a breath. And a sigh out. Good. Slowly come back to the center line of the chest, feet hip-width distance apart, hands at prayer position. Notice your legs. Maybe a little bit more grounded, maybe a little bit more activated. Okay. And then we're gonna have Claire close off this practice with, what are we closing this practice off with? It's a surprise.
Surprise.
Paschimottanasana.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Claire now close off this practice with a seated forward fold. It's going to be great. And I'll see you next time, day 5. Bye.
That was great, Joan. So we're just going to come to the floor. Inhale our arms up. Exhale, fold. Dropping our hands down, coming to our knees, coming back onto our bum. We're going to come to Dadasana Dandasana, which is seated staff pose, straightening the arms to the side, back straight, toes curling towards the shin. Bend the knees slightly to come into that forward fold, dropping the head. Straighten the spine. Bend your legs to the right. Bring that right foot in between the thigh of the left leg for deer pose. Hands come onto the knees and just rest. Taking 2 long breaths. Hands come behind you. Straighten those legs one more time. Toes come towards your shins, lengthening your back, chin parallel to the floor. Bend your knees, fold forward, keeping your back as straight as you can, looking down at your knees. And coming to the left side, bringing that left foot into the upper part of your right thigh, dropping your hands onto your knees, closing your eyes for 2 long breaths. Hands come behind you, moving into your seated position, whatever that is for you, moving the flesh, the bum back, into those sit bones, wiggling down. Hands maybe facing up to receive energy from the atmosphere. One last sigh. Sitting in this silent meditation for 1 minute. Bring your left hand onto your heart and your right on top of your left. Thank you so much for practicing with us today. From my warrior to your warrior. Namaste. Bye.